Welcome back to Ryan Campbell Soup to Nuts. I'm Ryan, by the way. Nice to meet you. It's a pleasure. Today we're working on the 350Z twin turbo that we got the engine in. Yeah, baby, yeah. And waiting on a bunch of various little parts here and there all over the place. It's kind of holding a few things up, but we're gonna keep on rocking and rolling. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off the lower intake manifold, and I'll clean up some wiring and start connecting hoses and wiring and little thingamajiggers like that. So let's roll.
You are tuned in to Ryan Campbell Soup to Nuts.
To catch you up to date, I got the built twin turbo motor into the 350Z, all bolted up and whatnot. And I hooked up most of the suspension. One nut was stripped, so I had to order a new nut. Then I had to replace a pulley on the front of the engine, the tensioner pulley, and one of the I think it's called a dust cover. Actually, it looks kind of like a washer, but that was kind of bent from the accident. The engine came out of another 350Z I had that I was in a bad accident with, and so I stripped everything off of that car and put it onto this car that I got to build up. All right. Enough for the history lesson here. So I'll give you a little closer up here, but I'm gonna be, we, you, me, we, woo, woo, me, you, and you. You have a hot sister, by the way? Just throwing that out there. Ladies, I'm single. Come get a piece of this. Don't steer clear. I mean, if you value any sense of sanity in your life, steer the F clear of this train wreck. I'm gonna go cry now. That was a quick cry. So I'm gonna be taking off the lower intake manifold. There's kind of like an upper and a lower. It's actually called plenum, really. I don't know, but it's basically upper and lower intake manifold. Because there's some wire for like the fuel injector harness and whatnot that's underneath, and also the coil pack harness that's underneath intake manifold. I kind of want to clean up and make it look a little prettier. So I'll time lapse taking off the lower intake manifold and all the little cleaning up crap and taping stuff, and I'll show you what I do afterwards, but it's kind of tedious and it won't really be good for video purposes. So I'll cue you back in. I'll bring you back in when I feel like it. When I get some things done. No, actually, you know what? Nope. I just fibbed to you. I just fibbed. I'm gonna time lapse taking off the lower intake manifold, and then I'll bring you back in and go over a little bit more closer detail of what's gonna happen. Okay. So got her off. Ripped her guts out, pal. So there's actually, I may have given a tad bit of misinformation out there. There's actually really like 3 sections to the intake manifold. You got the upper, I'm not including the cover, like the engine cover, but you got the upper, and then you have the lower, which is what I just took off. Or maybe it's like the intermediate, I don't know. But there's another one. This is a lower, I guess you would call it. basically this is what connects to each head. So this, this side connects to this head here, and this side connects to this head here. Obviously, it's all bolted in there. This is the fuel rails. These two, little bit of shiny guys. So this is the driver's side. This is the passenger side, and then we just stutter a little bit and start making up some random crap off the top of my head just to make things sound good. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to do this off camera, but all this wiring, this is for the fuel injectors. This is a fuel injector harness for both sides. This wiring made somewhat of, I don't know, our artery, the main artery. A harness here coming across that needs to be kind of cleaned up a little bit. It's kind of shedding here. As you can see, shedding its skin. We got a cobra here. We got a python. So I'm gonna clean this up off camera, clean all this crap up, and then I'm gonna probably bring the camera back in once I figure out these. Here you can see kind of here, that there, and then there's another one kind of back there. You can kind of see that's for the heater core hoses I need to connect. Which I think one connects to here, and the other one connects, it's kind of hard to see, but it's like right here. So I gotta connect that, I gotta connect this guy up here, and then get kind of clean up, make sure there's nothing else I'm missing before I put the intake manifold back on. So that's what Charlie's gonna be up to. I'm just making up names now because why the hell not? So after I wrap this crap, also I forgot to tell you, I'm going to connect the fuel lines to the fuel rails before I put it back on, since I have a lot of room to work with here right now. So I'm going to connect these. Also connect the other return fuel line to this Y right here that my thumb's kind of over. I connect that for the return fuel line, so I'm going to connect that before I put the manifold back on, while I have everything kind of open and easy to work on. Once I get the manifold, the section that I just pulled off back on, as you saw before on the time lapse, it kind of limits my space a little bit here to get my hands in here. I got some big mins! I got some big paws here! So I'll bring it back in once I have this wire and crap all wrapped up and cleaned up, and probably gonna do a lot of Tessa tape here. Okay.
Hey, I got the taping done on the engine. So I'll show you and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay? Alright.
So as you can see, this is the coil pack harness here. I already had the fuel injector harness done. I got the coil pack harness done on this side, and there's also other stuff in this harness too. There's a couple of O2 sensors, and a couple other things, whatever the hell this solenoid is, whatever the hell this is. Yeah, I'm on top of things here, what can I tell you? Stop. Just stop, Ryan. Alright, so next thing we're going to do here, I got to connect this hose here, goes to the heater core, goes to right here. I'm going to connect that, and then under here, you can kind of see this guy here, I'm wiggling. Got a hose connect that to the heater core down in there, as you can see down there. And then, there's this guy here, gets connected to those two. And then I gotta connect this hose, this is the fuel return hose, gets connected to this Y, this black Y that I'm moving a little bit, it gets connected to that. That's the return line. And then I have to connect the feed lines, this guy here to the end of the fuel rails here. It's these two. And then I'll just double check to make sure I didn't miss anything else underneath here while I got the upper 2/3 of the intake manifold out of the way.
So, I'm gonna show you some time lapse next.
I may have lost my temper just a tiny, tiny bit putting them hoses on. And by a tiny bit, I mean I was ready to actually like murder. I wasn't gonna murder anybody. It's not. I was angry. All right, wasn't gonna murder nobody, but I was pretty PO'd. And I invented a couple new curse words, which I'm gonna submit to Webster very shortly, and see what they do with it. So the problem was mainly the clamps. I had 2 clamps that decided to do this. Broke. That piece here is supposed to be right there. 2 of them did that. 2! Dos! And then I had a third one. There's 4 altogether. Remember, there's just 4. As you can see, there's kind of like a inner ring and an outer ring. You see there's kind of like one clamp on top of the other, sort of. Like one piece of metal on top of the other. For some reason, the third one, the top piece kept sliding off the bottom piece, so when I would squeeze this, it wouldn't open up the top layer. It would just open the bottom layer. And it wouldn't even open the bottom layer fully, actually. So I couldn't get it to work. So this is what I did. So actually, for this one here, I did get the right clamps on there, but I stole them from the other car. So I got them on there, which honestly, I'm never going to use these again. Anytime I take these off from now on, I'm putting on different clamps, because these are just, they make your life absolutely pure miserable. I can't even remember, I'm not even angry anymore, but I'm still angry. Go figure. And this one, I just use like a traditional screw type hose clamp, kind of like this one already had. Because this isn't like the stock hose setup. It's this is the stock hose. Actually, no, this isn't. This isn't the full stock hose setup. This whole contraption, because the previous owner had to create and put kind of, it's not really a T, but it's a similar concept to a T to be able to tap in. You can see the blue there. It's kind of hard. It's really tight here. And you can see the blue there. It had to kind of tap in and create the coolant lines for the turbos. So that's that. I also got another pain in the big old hiney done. I got this guy here. This guy here. I got these nuts in. This is the tie rod. This is the nut that holds the tie rod. And the tie rod itself was slightly cross-threaded. So I had to run that nut on, honestly, about 20 times or so. On and off, on, off, on, off. So I had to run that nut on, off, like 20 times. I didn't actually keep count, but it was damn near 20 times. It might have even been north of 20. Well, I don't know. I keep count, like I just told you. Relax, bud, relax. But at least it's done. Yay. Yay. And then I also got the clutch slave cylinder bolted in, which a little bit of a pain, but I got it done without killing myself. I'll get under there right now. I'll get under there. All right, so this here, my finger is this guy here. That's the clutch slave cylinder. This pushes on it's kind of like a lever. Probably is technically a lever, which pushes on the throwout bearing inside of the. It's not actually built into the transmission, but it's like built into the bell housing, which I know doesn't make sense to a lot of you, but basically this lever it has a lot of pressure on it, and to get these bolts here to line up, it kind of has to be pushed in a little bit, so the lever had to be pushed a little bit. So luckily I was able to get a pry bar and kind of pry to push this a little bit to get these to line up, but a little bit tough, but not as tough as those stupid clamps. That's done. While I'm under here, I'll show you. I'm probably not going to set up the camera for this work, but I'll show you this is what I have to do with the steering. So, as you can see, it's kind of hard to get my hand here. Where my middle finger is now, that's the steering shaft that goes into the car, into the cabin of the car. And then here where my index finger is, that's where it has to slide into. And then there's a bolt that goes through here to kind of clamp this thing down and to hold that piece from coming out. So I got to put this piece into here, and it has to be lined up straight as well, which will be fun.
So I got a couple things in the mail. They're right down here. Let's take a look.
This piece here is the dust cover that goes onto that pulley that I was doing earlier. It came silver, so I actually had to paint it. So this goes on there. That's what got damaged in the accident. So I got that. And then this piece here, this is the that goes over inside the cabin. This is the piece I cracked right here. So this goes, it connects basically the steering column that I just showed you under the car. It connects it to the steering wheel shaft. There's kind of like two separate pieces. The piece you saw underneath the car, and then the piece that bolts into the back of the steering wheel. So this basically connects them, and there's a bolt and nut that goes through here to lock them together. So I broke this piece. So I got it, and we're going to throw that in. So since that part's really tough to film, because you can see it's to get under there, this camera setup, it's just such a tight spot. I'm just going to do it off camera. And hopefully get everything lined up. If I run into problems, I'll bring it back in. Or if I don't run into problems and it goes okay, I'll bring it back in to show you that it's completed. Completed. Mi hablo español. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay. It actually went fairly smooth up until the point. That's how everything starts around here. Went smooth up until the point. The knuckle on this steering rack in this car is hitting the turbo, the exhaust housing on the turbo. And I looked on the other car, there's a different knuckle, or union, whatever it's called, where the steering shaft plugs into the steering rack on the other car, and it doesn't have the bulge. I'll show you in a second. It doesn't have the welded on nut that's going to hit. So, long story short, basically I have to put the steering situation on hold for right now. I have to take the one off the other car, and then the problem is that it's all rusted to hell out there, so everything's been cleaned up on this car, so I want to clean that up too before I put it in this car. So, video-wise, the steering situation is being put on hold. I'll just do like taking it off and cleaning it up and all that good crap off camera. Once I get it off, I'll show you the difference. I'll show you what the one looks like now. And then in the future video, it's not going to be in this video. Future video, I'll show you side by side, or I'll take pictures and have side by side pictures or something like that, so you could see the difference easily. But I'll show you what I'm talking about on this car right now. Alright, you see the bolt head on the left? You can see the hex bolt head on the left side of the black shaft. On the right side, I know it's not perfectly clear, but on the right side, you can see the nut that's welded on. It's a welded on nut on the other side that the thread bolts into, and that nut is hitting the exhaust housing of the turbo. It's kind of the rusty part. You can see on the rusty part there's a little bit of a kind of a scratch. That's from the nut. The other steering rack, it bolts in differently. It basically has almost like a set screw, like a set indented Allen key, Allen head. It's like indented, and then it has the threads built into this body for the set screw. So basically it's flush on both sides, so that way you won't have that clearance issue. So this one has to come off, and I gotta swap them. Anywho, in the meantime, I might as well take care of this pulley bolt here with my hands wiggling. I'll take care of that, do a time lapse of putting that on. That shouldn't take more than 5, 10, maybe 10 minutes or so. So I'll do that. And then I also have to do the, I'll show you. And I also have to do this. So this piece here, this is for the oil return line from the turbo. This going here to the blue threads here. This goes into the oil pan. So I'm going to replace this because I'm pretty sure it's leaking around with this swivel. So it's kind of beat up too. So I'm going to replace that as well. I'll probably do that off camera and then just show you later. You want to see that, don't you? Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize for my inappropriate behavior. All right, time lapse. Everything I touch doesn't go okay. Literally, like the past 10 different sections I've worked in this car have had problems. Not one thing has just gone on, boom, done, next thing. Every single one. The power steering, the tie rod end, the under brace underneath the engine. Everything's going wrong. Next thing, power steering issues. Take a look at this and see if you see anything wrong. See a problem? See a problem? It's bent. I don't know if it's the pulley itself, if the shaft that runs into the pump, but bent. Yeah, it's bent. So, go rob the power steering pump off the other engine. That's the only thing to do. So now I'm turning into a thief, I guess. But since everything is up against me, I'm not touching anything else today. It's like I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna quit before it gets worse. You know, get some sleep, get some rest, and come back at it with some new gusto. I want some new gusto, goddammit! Done for the day. I've had it up to about we're about here. We're about here. So I still got this much room left to carry out the rest of my day. So I need a little buffer. I need a buffer. Otherwise, I might choke somebody. Don't want to do that. Don't want to be you know what this means. I'm not talking about the Friends stupid thing. I'm talking about metal bracelets. So I'm calling it while I can. So next video you're gonna see, you'll see. Actually, that might take a few days with the drying and everything with the power steering union knuckle thing. So I'm gonna skip over that, but I should hopefully be able to easily pull the power steering pump off the other engine. So you should be seeing that next, hopefully. And I still have to do, you won't see on video, but I still have to do that that fitting for the oil return line. And then after that, probably gonna throw the drive shaft back up, coming up. I don't know how much I'm gonna fit each video. The way things are going, I'm getting nothing done in every video. So I mean, your guess is as good as mine at this point. But coming up, I want to do the drive shaft and the exhaust. Hopefully I can get this steering taken care of. Hopefully that'll go okay. And hopefully I can take care of this power steering pump as well. And get this belt on that buttoned up. So then I could drop her down onto the ground. That's probably, the dropping down on the ground probably isn't going to be the next video. Hopefully the video after that. Drop it down, get the new wheels on it, bolt it up. Kind of, we'll see what it looks like on the ground. I will too at the same damn time. I mean, I'll actually see it before you because, there's a lag between when I actually film and this isn't live as you could tell, so there's editing going on and it gets, it doesn't get released like that. I mean, there's some work that has to be done on my end, which I'm happy to do for you. I'm here for your entertaining. So you're going to see some stupid crap, me busting things not going right coming up very shortly. So please, stay tuned. Check out my other videos too while you're at it. Give me a subscribe down here, otherwise I'm going to send Joey to take care of your kneecaps. And check me out on my socials. They're down in the description. And leave me a like, por favor, and a comment, por favor. With that being said, drop this, take Johnson!